Ready? Okay, let's call the regular bi-monthly town board meeting for April 24th, 2024 to order at 7:02. Please rise and join me in the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, if you guys could remain standing, we have a moment of silence here. Victor Posta, who was a highway employee with us, his mother passed away, I guess this past week, right, Rick? Was it just recently? And we'd like to remember her in her honor with a moment of silence. Thank you. Okay. First thing on the agenda, Rick, you could take that one since that's right up your
We're doing
the oath of office.
So Chief Mercer, you want to call Officer Anthony Weed up to the front?
Intro or anything, or you good?
Well, yeah, I will, as a matter of fact. So I've known Anthony Weed for over 20 years. He,
Good, we're good.
good,
You're good? Oh, okay, sorry.
for over 20 years, at least over 20 years, he is the consummate professional, and we are very lucky to welcome him to our ranks. I think he's gonna do great things for us and with us. So, thank you.
Right. Right. Please raise your right hand. I state your name.
I, Anthony Weed,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
to support the Constitution of the United States
to support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York.
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of
I will faithfully discharge the duties of
part-time police officer for the
Part-time
town
police
of
officer.
Tuxedo
Town of Tuxedo
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Welcome. Welcome.
We should move that here. So that's where he goes. Push him back. Because it's near the flag.
Welcome aboard, Officer Weed.
Welcome. Congratulations.
Congratulations. Okay, next on the agenda is department updates. So we'll start with you, Rob, since
Already?
already we're moving you right to the front.
Wow. Good evening. Few things we got going. The project along the river by the pump station, the blocks are completed, everything's in. Now we have to go to the cement portion of it and cement the walls and stuff. We'll work on that. We are, what are we doing? Geez, we got a lot going on. We're mulching and cleaning and cutting and getting the town kind of primed and cleaned up. The men are, I have 5 men going to bucket training tomorrow for, to certify, for bucket truck training. So that's 5 men, that'll be doing that. We have, worked on the cameras, put new batteries, get them ready for the springtime rush of people dumping on the back roads. We have cameras, as you all know, on East Monbassia and all the likely spots. So that's, we finished that today. We're doing some maintenance on Sylvan Way where the road floods over. That's the entrance to Ticky Field, as you guys are.
Yeah.
That we've put in for a grant for, but at some point, we're gonna have to deal with that to keep that constant flooding from happening on that, building a different bridge type thing, entrance to Ticky Field or some kind of, well, I looked at it a couple times with the engineers and a bridge would be the best way to do that. But that's that. Getting ready for, Memorial Day, which is right around the corner, so we're starting sweeping. We're starting to paint the roads, in town anyway, all the stop bars, all our road signs in town. Flags will be going up. And anything else that may or may not happen.
What's going on with I know we started phase one of the I&I repairs.
Yes, and
We identified some new manholes. How many manholes, and we know the cost of adding them to the,
they have not, we don't have the cost of that yet, Dave.
okay.
They have, we've identified 1, 2, and some that were on the original map, but I don't know why they weren't included. But come to find out, we don't have a manhole in a place where a Y comes, so they can only do straight lining. And so we're gonna have to put a manhole there. That I think will be a town project. We'll take care of that.
Okay,
We've been, from the racetrack, that we have a manhole in the center of the racetrack, more or less. On the map, it shows 3 manholes to the other side, on the downhill side of the racetrack, on the other side of, what's it, Circuit Road or whatever road that is that comes out, by the racetrack, the lower side. There's 3 manholes we just can't find.
okay.
Our
So these
cameras-
weren't, the
Our
ones that you,
camera's not long enough. They're unwilling to put their cameras in because they're afraid to get it stuck. So we're missing 3 manholes. What we're gonna do with that, I'm not sure.
how many additional manholes are they adding? Do you know, an approximation?
4.
That's, okay, 4.
4. Yeah.
Okay, and I'm
And that-
assuming that they're,
That is 4 just the line.
okay,
But they're serviceable, they're in, so that's 4 to line, maybe another 400 feet of pipeline.
oh, that's gonna be important what that cost is, because I built some overage into the band, but I need to know,
Well, I haven't,
approximation.
Andrew from TAM, who we're dealing with, he has not gotten back to us.
Okay,
We have the maps made, we have everything, and he hasn't gotten back to us on a price. I'd like to offset maybe something in town for that, because that's the 2 areas, and I don't know why they weren't brought out on the original I&I plan, but the 2 areas are our main source of water coming in. So we have to offset something to do that up there.
okay. Well, if we can fit it in, we can. I mean, I
Yeah,
just need to
yeah,
know what the budget is for, like I say, I built some extra into the band when I acquired it.
Yes.
Because I figured that there was gonna be something that, popped up once they got going. So, yeah, before we give them the okay, we'd like to see that price.
I don't have the price yet. We're working on it. I don't-
Okay, perfect.
As soon as I have it, you'll know, and then we'll decide how we're gonna go about, making it not that unreasonable, or it isn't.
Okay, thanks, Rob. Appreciate it.
But I'm not giving anybody a go ahead until.
Okay,
Just 2 things. One with the project that's going on down at the pump house there.
Yes,
When you're done with the dry hydrant for the fire department, if you could
Yes.
just let us know.
Like-
We'd like to probably get down there with the fire department because I think you added a little bit to it.
Yes,
Just
we
so we
did.
can that's a crucial point for us to make
Yeah,
sure
yeah.
that works properly.
yes.
So we'd like to run that and just make sure.
Jeff is aware of it,
Oh,
Downey,
okay.
and he was gonna, at the next meeting, go down and do
A test on it?
a test on
Okay.
it and try to, yeah.
Great. And second, thank you so much for the tulips out in the
Yeah,
middle
that's
of town.
Yeah, they're
Absolutely
beautiful.
gorgeous. There was
And
people
at the
down there
entrance.
in prom dresses and stuff, taking pictures.
Good. good.
Phenomenal job.
Not
Excellent.
everybody likes it.
Yeah.
Something's a little
Yep.
nice.
Hopefully we could tie some more of that into the town somehow because that's really, really beautiful. Good job.
yeah. Agreed.
That's what we got going on. Mulches in Corey Field, everybody knows that, right? We've had people asking for truckloads of mulch. They have to go out by the highway garage and talk to Dean Koontz that's running the place, and they can make their arrangements with him.
That's for sale though, right,
That's
correct?
for sale.
Right.
They have to pay for it.
Right.
Absolutely. We only put mulch by Corey Field, and it's, little bits at a time. It's meant more for the person to put a couple buckets in their car, go home. put it,
Right, yeah.
But That's it.
Very good. Thank you, Rob. Chief Trezino,
Sure.
you're up, sir.
Thank you. Oh, so the warm weather is coming. Well, first off, we have a couple of ongoing investigations that we're working on, so I don't want to give up too many details on that, but our detective is busy. But aside from that, we've also been busy upgrading over at the police department. Mr. Marsh over there has been helping us quite a bit, working on a bunch of projects there. We're also stepping up our vehicle and traffic enforcement right now, parking enforcement. I also want to remind the community that we are looking for seatbelts and for people talking on cell phones while they're driving. And don't forget to check your inspection stickers on your windshields, please. All right? That's normal business. You know, the weather gets warm and so now we're able to stay outside more. So they will be seeing us out there at, different locations, holding up traffic a little bit when we can, taking a look.
Thank you very much, sir. All right. And there's no recreation report today.
They have a meeting tonight, the Recreation Board is meeting at the train station tonight at 7:00. Just happened to
Okay.
fall on our same night as a Passover.
Okay. All right, thank you for that. Marissa, you don't have anything, do you?
Good evening, everyone. I'm freshly back from training, so I'm going to be inundating you with some information that I learned. Took some classes on hybrid meetings. I think there's an easy fix to avoid or at least minimize the risk of being hacked. I took one on cybersecurity, and Dave, I know you added that extra layer of security for our emails. There's a couple of things that they suggested, so I'll pass that on. But I do want to announce our deputy town clerk recently took her notary exam and passed, and she received her commission from the state. So now town hall is back to 2 notaries, which is good news. We're very busy with that. I don't know if you've noticed that we get a lot of traffic in for that service. Some community announcements, events going on Saturday, April 27th. The Boy Scout Troop 2146 is hosting a fundraiser at the Eagle Valley Firehouse. They're having a spaghetti dinner. Our recreation department put together a pickleball clinic for beginners. For those of you that haven't played, it's a lot of fun. I highly recommend it. And this is a good way to kind of ease your way into it. It's an instructor, kind of just goes over basic skills. That's Saturday, May 4th from 10 to 11:30 at Ticky Field. There's 15 spots available, and we have a nice registration online, so please utilize that function so Kathleen will know who's participating. There is an I Love My Parks Day at the Pollination Meadow on the corner of Route 17 and 17A on Saturday, May 5th at 9:30 a.m. And they're going to have a cleanup of the Pollination Meadow. And there's the annual spring flower sale at St. Elizabeth's. It's an annual sale that they do. It's very nice. It's Thursday through Saturday, May 9th through May 11th. There's different days, or on the days and times are listed on the flyer, and we have that posted on our website and Facebook page.
Okay, thank you so much. All right, on to public comments on agenda items. Before we take the comments, I'd just like to clarify, agenda item number 10, resolution to appoint town realtor has been removed from the agenda. And with that said, does anybody have any public comments on agenda items? In the room, no. How about out on Zoom? Anybody at all, public comments on agenda items? Okay, moving on. Agenda item number 1. Resolution to approve purchase of 3 defibrillators. And this, obviously, Rick, this came out of the ARPA funds, and I'll let you explain what's happening there.
Well, we were having our chair yoga and we had an injury that occurred, and it brought to our attention that we needed to supply medical bags and we didn't have defibrillators in the town hall. So looking to purchase 3 defibrillators, one for the meeting room area, one for downstairs by the courtroom, and the other one would be in the train station, our public areas that we do rent out, and we have we're encouraging you know, the seniors to come out and do chair yoga and other events that we hold here that, we believe we should be having defibrillators for. We asked our auditors to confirm that we could use this, ARPA money, which was from COVID, to purchase these defibrillators. So it's not at a cost of the town taxpayers, but it was granted money from the government. So, with
So
the
I'm sorry, one town hall and,
two town hall,
Two
one in
town
the
hall.
train station,
Okay,
one
train
upstairs, one
station.
downstairs, one in the train station. So we're just looking to get a resolution to, purchase the three for $6,694.83.
we'll go ahead and make the motion and we'll open it up for discussion.
Okay, I make the motion that we purchase three defibrillators from Stryker for $6,694.83. Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion?
Discussion?
Any questions?
Good idea.
Do we have any at the school?
Tuxedo School?
Yeah.
Yes, they have them there.
Okay,
Yeah, public spaces, you're supposed to have them.
okay.
We just didn't have them for some reason.
Rob, want one?
We have an aging crew at the highway department.
True.
You're
You're right. I am remiss for that. I'm sorry. So.
Can they borrow the one from the town hall and we get
Yeah,
another
when
one?
there's no court in
We
session,
could.
you could borrow.
Just saying.
I didn't know that. That's probably a good, if we
No,
were to add,
somewhere along the line, we should do that.
how do we do that?
Maybe,
Do
maybe
we-
get some grants.
Well,
for
I
that
think
or
we can
something.
appropriate another one. I think when we
It's
get
out of
these
ARPA
three.
money, so it's.
Yeah, we can just order
Really
another one,
bad.
but I would say in the meantime, when we get to three, just give him one of the three and we'll just order a third.
Or whatever.
I mean, we have it. We
You
could just
think that's-
add the number to the proposal.
Okay, why don't
Make
we
the
just
motion.
do that?
Just
So,
add it.
Yeah.
so
we're
rephrase
full.
your motion to say four.
Or
Just
for-
Make sure you do your math.
Yeah, right. I'm not gonna do this on my fingers.
Wait a minute, check the PD.
Already did.
PD already
Okay.
has it.
All right.
I'm under pressure here. You guys are stressing me out.
Take your time.
Okay, I would like to make a motion that we purchase four defibrillators for the amount of $8,926.44. So this way we could take care of our aging highway department as well.
Agree.
Do I have a second?
Second.
In favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you for bringing that to my attention, Rob. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's a,
Okay, I believe the agenda item number 2, there were some questions from some board members that you would like to take into attorney conversations, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so we're just gonna push that one off to the end. We're gonna have to go into executive session with Howard to discuss number 2. Number 3, resolution to approve rental fees for town-owned properties. I think we just updated that. I know you worked with Marissa on that, and can you just give us a brief outline of what's changed, what hasn't?
Well, Mercy, you want to take this or you want me to?
Sure. So the local law number 1 of 2024, which updated our Parks and Recreation chapter in our code, was officially adopted by the Department of State. So now that's going to be integrated into our town code. For any of these that utilize the E-code, any of the new laws that are adopted that aren't codified into the actual chapter sit under new laws on the left-hand side. So if you ever wanted to see, but eventually that's going to be incorporated to flow into remove out any of the edits. The updates will be in there, so it'll just read in full. So part of the update was to allow the town to set fees for rentals, and you can do that by resolution. So we kind of put some fees together based on the facility or field or park, the amenities that they had, and kind of just, this was a starting point.
So the fees that were published, that we all looked at, those are the fees that we're approving today? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, or at least a starting point, just felt,
Yeah.
And
is,
just to justify and
Appropriate.
clarify we have $400 for the train station. It has a kitchen, has 2 bathrooms, a large area. We just spent a ton of money revitalizing it and stuff. 300 for Murphy Field, 300 for Tiki Field. They have concession stands, pavilions, bathrooms. And then Quarry Field and Powerhouse is $100 because they're pretty much just field use. There's no facilities there. So we figured it was not fair to charge the same for the others that provided other facilities. So that's our, fees that we're asking.
So for the train station, I'm gonna say for all the facilities, I'm gonna assume that inside the rental fee is also the cleaning fee?
Correct.
Okay.
Oh, it's inside, because.
Is that's
It's not in addition.
It's in addition.
We were talking about doing additional and deposits and
Right.
it just became, how do you get the deposits returned? How do you get the deposits given? There was a lot of confusion about, how do you do all that stuff? So we added, it's just a flat rate now. This is what it is. And
Okay, I think it's a good
one
idea.
price. And there's,
And then
Is
there's.
the
the
there a
cleaning
time
service.
period set on these prices?
a time period.
All
so-
day.
Do you have it all
4
day
hours.
for you?
We did have 4-hour block for the train stations, but we did not set a time. There's no time period as of now, Mary.
Okay. Thank you.
However, it's a good point.
It is a
I
very
think
good
for
point.
all the
It's something
fields in
that
the
I-
park,
We did discuss it, but I think we forgot to put it down on here. So as of right now, I would say there is not a time period, but probably will follow because that's something we made a mistake with.
It was in,
It was in the original
Yeah, it
ones.
was.
Yeah, it was a 4-hour and then it was
Yeah.
additional hours, like if you were in the middle of a
Yeah.
party, you wanted to stay, there was nobody booked behind you.
Nobody's gonna look
It was
anyway.
gonna be something else, but
Yeah.
so that needs to be clear in the motion though, however. Do we need to table that one or can we?
I would suggest you table it until you have some clarity on how long the rental period is to match the fee.
we had it in there.
It
If
Well,
you-
was.
if you
the
have it,
train
then you can
station
produce it, we're good.
rental fee was really the only dollar amount that was ever established, other than what was listed in our code. They had for deposits, but it was like $15 it was outdated.
You want to
but
just save it for?
In
the end
reorg,
of the
every
meeting, we can
year,
call it out of
the
office?
train station had the dollar amounts. I'm not
What
sure
about the
why.
timing? Remember?
So that was for the train station, though it was for
After
4
executive
hours,
session.
Yeah.
and then each
Everything else?
addition.
Yeah, that's fine.
Let's push this to the end of the meeting, because I
Okay,
have the original on my desk somewhere. And
okay,
we can
so,
get that after executive session.
Quickly, so the cleaning is kind of baked into these numbers? Is that what you're
Correct.
saying?
Correct.
Who, I guess, would be doing the cleaning?
From
Right,
what
so
I
if someone
remember-
runs the train station and makes a mess of it, who's cleaning it?
We have a
we
cleaning
have a
service.
contracted
We have a
cleaner.
cleaning service that we pay
Yeah.
$30,000 a year for. If we have something
Okay, so
that
it's
we
a
have
flat
to,
rate that we have.
Yeah, there's a
Right.
flat
For the
rate
year,
for cleaning.
that helps.
They need to
Yeah,
clean
we
it.
have something that somebody rents and when we go check on it and there's a mess, we call them and say, hey, we need somebody to clean the bathrooms at this location. We need somebody to clean up at the train station. Stuff
Okay.
like that.
Generally speaking, people, 99%
I'm sure,
will keep it
I'm
clean,
sure,
but in that
yeah.
particular case, we do have a contracted service second.
Okay, but it wouldn't cost us an additional
No, we're
amount of
flat
money.
rate.
It's
No,
a
we
flat
already have
rate.
a-
If we
for
need it
that.
cleaned, they clean it
Exactly.
and that's that. Okay.
All right, so we'll just hold that one off, what
Yeah,
you
we'll push
produced, so
that
we
to
hate to
after
table
executive
that, just
session.
get it out there. Okay, agenda item number 4, once again, Rick Marsh, resolution to solicit bids for repairs to the police station project. Go ahead, I think we talked about that before.
Yes.
If you want to go into some more detail before, and make the motion, that
Yeah,
would be great.
we've talked about this several times over the last couple months. We had a company give us just went out to see where we would fall ballpark wise as per our procurement policy and if we'd have to go out for a request for a proposal or if it was gonna be below that and we could just go out for bids. Well, it's gonna be over our proposal
Our
requirement as per our
procurement
procurement
policy.
policy. So what I'm asking for now is that we allow Sean Hoffman, our town engineer, to go out and work with Marissa to get out a proposal so we could get some proposals in and we could award to the person of choice.
Sounds
So
good
this
to me.
is a seeker.
We need to get it done.
It's an RFP, right?
This is a type 2
2,
action.
yeah, it's type 2
So
action.
no seeker. And just as a brief outline, I mean, you have
Yeah, well,
the repairs that have to be done in there are pretty major.
correct.
Distinct,
It's, well,
so-
first, Chief, do you know if Precision fixed the roof yet?
I don't believe so.
Okay, we're waiting on Precision to fix the roof. once the roof is fixed, then this will not cause any more damages.
Yeah,
We
because
will move forward.
that's the main.
This is gonna take a little while to get this done. So we're hoping that Precision gets that work done within the next month.
But everything will be included in the RFP, right? All the work.
Is he sure that
It-
somebody get back
We
to
approved
him?
his work over a month ago for him to
Yeah.
do it.
And you got back to him and told
And
him?
Lieutenant
that?
Norton supposedly has been in touch with him to tell him to move forward and get this work done. So
Okay.
he needs to get it done.
Well, I call, maybe
Yeah.
call him again.
He knows I've been in the emails, so,
Okay.
if you could reach
He's
out to, that'd be great.
Yeah, I know.
Busy.
Who, Rick?
Precision Roofing up in
Oh,
Southfield.
yeah, okay.
So, once he has the roof done, then we're gonna move and do the police
Oh.
department. It's the Route 17 side of the building.
Mhm.
The, sheet rock many years ago was wet, had mold. They took it out. They remedied the mold situation. The water got into the locker rooms and heaved the tile off the floors.
This is the door and
And the
ladies'
doors
room.
up front, yep,
Yeah,
and the
okay.
doors up front, are security risks, so they're gonna be metal doors now. And it's been in that condition for a couple of years now, so we have a perfect opportunity to do this with, ARPA money, so it's not gonna be coming out of our budgets. So I just would like to have Sean be able to draw up those proposals so we get moving and, you know, him and Marissa will set timelines when they have to have them submitted and stuff, so.
Okay. Go ahead and make a motion.
I make a motion that we allow Sean Hoffman to draw up the proposals for the repairs to the police station. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
No, I'm good.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Agenda item number 5, resolution to enter into agreement with Enterprise Fleet Leasing for town vehicles. And we've been talking about this one for quite some time now. And we're finally at that point in time where we can adopt it. So Rick, another one of your projects.
They're coming to an end. I'm gonna be able to cross these off and get on to something else now.
Something new.
So, yes, we've been talking about this for the last couple months. We are to that point. We worked over with Rob, all the upfitting issues that we needed to do. We worked with the chief. We believe we're all set and ready to go forward. And, yeah, so I would like to make a motion that, authorizes Supervisor McMillan to sign contract upon receiving that contract tomorrow and reviewing it with Howard and moving forward from there. But everything else has been talked about in length, in detail, many times.
So when is it going to affect, Rick?
Well, once Howard and Dave and I look over the contract tomorrow, the guy, David Gotham from Enterprise.
Yeah.
He will touch base with me in the morning. We'll get those documents over to the people that need to review it. Once we review it, if everybody's good and we sign off on it, they will go ahead and start the purchase order. We're looking at probably December, January before we receive our first
Okay.
vehicles because of supply chain stuff.
Right.
And then upfitting of the lights and all that stuff. But what that does is it allows the upfitting companies to start ordering the products,
Mm-hmm.
waiting for the vehicles to come in, so we don't have an issue like we have now with our vehicles. We got our vehicles, but we didn't have the upfitting stuff. Then we had to wait another 4 months for the upfitting stuff. And then it's a month of install and everything else. So hopefully by the time we receive our vehicles, all the upfitting stuff will be sitting somewhere waiting for them to arrive. Everything will be upfitted and we'll be getting them in a timely fashion.
Yeah, so no more
So
delays.
basically,
No more
20,
delays,
so
streamline.
2025 is when we're really gonna see the
We're
effect
looking at,
of all of
correct.
this
Yep.
moving forward.
At the end of this year, we should get the first, like December.
Well, that's what David
Yeah.
was saying, is
Yeah.
approximately
Okay.
December, maybe January we'll be receiving, and we don't have any payments until we receive our first products.
Okay.
Yeah, and just, I mean, I just want to say these are substantial, measurable safety improvements for our town employees to have these kind of vehicles in our fleet, number one.
Yeah.
And number two, the amount of savings is incredible. And Rick, off the top of your head, do you recall what that number looks like year on year?
$350,000.
Yeah, it's
Out
substantial.
of these,
Right.
invoices that we signed today, how many of them were probably repairs?
Oh, my gosh.
It's $3,000 bill after $3,000 bill after $3,000 bill.
And we, like, for instance, we have a
Or more.
2020
Or
police
more.
cruiser that's out of warranty. in-
Yeah, by
in-
keeping a fresh
In
fleet,
4
we're not
years,
gonna have
right? I
that.
mean, they do
We
336,
have a
so.
1994 truck and a 1998 truck that they're trying to utilize. Yeah, it's,
We're trying to, well, hopefully we'll repair it, we'll replace one.
so.
Yeah, and it reduces the amount of maintenance that your mechanic has to face. And you know, he'll do the yard vehicles and the machines yeah, this is a great plan. And thank you, Rick, for all your hard work. I know
Yeah.
you were on the phone with these
It's
guys
Hard
for
work.
Well worth it, trust me.
eons, it seems, but finally,
Over time, it's gonna be well worth the.
Correct.
Yes, absolutely.
And it's, hopefully by the time we get into this, there's the maintenance costs go down, the time alone, man hours of fixing the things.
And you don't have to worry, a snowstorm's coming, is the truck gonna make it? I
Yeah.
don't know. You're pulling in three trucks out of a snowstorm. Now you
Right,
got areas that are not
exactly.
being plowed, you got, yeah,
I remember you saying earlier this year, you didn't know if you were gonna have trucks if we had a bad storm.
right, right.
So,
yeah, and everything outside of fair wear and tear is covered by the
Yeah, right.
the manufacturer, no warranty.
Absolutely.
so I made a motion, I believe, right?
Yeah.
We had a discussion, second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Seconded that? Oh, you did.
Second.
Okay, agenda item number 6, resolution to accept employee resignations. This is for Jeff Dowding, who is actually retiring, and I guess the town requires a resignation for retiring,
Really?
apparently.
Well, I imagine he's already done that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's already
we
done
received
that.
it, yes.
So I'd like to,
I think Monday is his last official.
and I'd like to thank him. He's been a wonderful employee for all these years, and we're gonna miss seeing him in the fields, and
Yep, yep.
he's like that news van. He's everywhere with that lawnmower, so we're definitely miss him.
Very dedicated employee.
Very, very extremely. We'll miss him for sure. So I'd like to make a motion that the town of Tuxedo hereby accepts the resignation from Jeff Dowding after 29 years in the highway department, and we thank him for his dedication to the town. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Reluctantly. Number 2, this is resignation of Chris Stolbaum from the zoning board, obviously, because now he's on the town board and it would be a conflict for him to be there. So I'll make a motion to accept, the town of Tuxedo will make a motion to accept the resignation of Chris Stolbaum from the zoning board of appeals effective April 26th, 2024. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And, okay, agenda item number 7, resolution to appoint full-time laborer. So this is because Jeff Dowding, who is retiring on April 29th, opens a vacancy in a full-time slot.
This is a 3-year seasonal, full-time seasonal employee.
Okay,
Just
okay.
moving up.
So it's full-time seasonal, okay.
No.
Oh, he's-
No,
he
he's
was
gonna be a
full-time
laborer now. He's
Oh, he's moving up from the,
from
From
a
seasonal.
seasonal to.
I got you, I misunderstood, okay. And that individual will be Chris Posta.
Yes.
He's been working several years for the highway department as a seasonal employee and doing a fine job. Chris will serve the highway department well with his many new skills and his willingness to work. And obviously has the blessing of the highway superintendent.
Yes.
So I'd like to make a motion to hire Chris Posta to replace Jeff Dowding. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Agenda item number 8, resolution to appoint fire commissioner. This is, let's see, approve the appointment of Kent Clark, who is apparently vying for a seat that was vacated by the resignation of Jeff Dowding. Well, he's quitting everything. He's bailing it. He's out of here.
I think he came into some money.
Who expired, then his term expires on December 31st. So I'd like to make a motion to appoint Kent Clark to the Board of Fire Commissioners for the Tuxedo Fire District to complete the remainder of the 5-year term vacated by the resignation of Jeff Dowding, expiring on December 31st, 2025. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Agenda item number 9, resolution to accept scholarship award for town clerk training. So, Marissa, this is for you, right?
Yes, it was actually
Okay.
the training that I came back from. I applied and was awarded the $300 scholarship which, no, it doesn't sound like a lot, but that was the maximum amount. So I did have to write an essay.
Well, I was gonna say,
Wow.
don't leave the
I
essay part, because that was
No.
part of the selection criteria.
Yes.
Are you
yeah.
gonna read that out to us?
I will.
Yeah.
I'm gonna read that. I won't bore you, but yes, so I'm very proud of that. And that was awarded to me by the Orange and Sullivan Town Clerk Association, which is our local association that is part of the bigger New York State Town Clerk Association, which is a wonderful organization, provides continuing education for us, and it was
Well,
a great.
congratulations on
Yeah.
winning essay, and thank you so much.
Thank you.
So with that, I'd like to make a motion to hereby accept a $300 scholarship that was awarded by the Orange and Sullivan Town Clerks Association for the NYSTCA conference held in Albany, thanks to Marissa. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Agenda item number 10, resolution to appoint town realtor is the one that got tabled, because we're not going to do that at all. I had made a error in judgment based on a real estate transaction that's in front of us, at least for the next few weeks, in terms of 209 Route 17. We do not need a realtor to handle the activity between the town and the seller, as we have the attorney for that. So that one is coming off permanently. Agenda item number 11, resolution to approve sign permit for the Tuxedo Park Library. And with us, we have Tuxedo Library representative. Would you please tell us what you're asking for here so we can get it on the record?
That's where our chief should have went to. We let him get away.
No citation tonight.
The library is asking that the town approve the sign permits so we can start promoting our library's annual community picnic. This will be our 19th year hosting this picnic. And we found that this way to promote the program and the picnic has been very successful in the past. So,
Agree, and thanks for everything you guys do for the community. We really appreciate that.
thank you.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion that the town board approve a Tuxedo Park Library sign permit at various locations throughout the town, except at intersections, with State Route 17, to advertise for the Memorial Day Parade and picnic. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, thank you so much. Agenda item number 12, resolution to approve form of petition for the proposition to increase town board budgetary allocation for the Tuxedo Park Library. And this is something that we see, I guess is this every year or just every election cycle? Every year, okay. Would you like to speak to that?
Sure. So what we're asking for today is just the approval of the petition, just the form of the petition. It's blank right now. This just follows our traditional procedure and the first step in getting the library's budget prop on the back of the November ballot.
Okay, very good. With that, I'd like to make a motion to permit the library to circulate a form of petition annexed below for the proposition to increase town board budgetary allocation for the Tuxedo Park Library. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you so much. Other business, Rick, you have something penciled in there.
Penciled it in because,
Yeah.
so this is to appoint part-time police officer Michael Kenya, is that, how's it? Kanye, to the position vacated by, Brendan Iron. So I'd like to make a motion to appoint Michael Kanya to part-time police officer. Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion? We interviewed them. It's a recommendation of the chief. We interviewed him the same time we did Officer Weed, who was sworn in tonight, and position just opened up last meeting with Brendan Iron, so just to sum that up. So we'll go to a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I have
Michael
one.
Kenna is.
Go ahead.
So another business, we have to schedule 2 outreach meetings for the a recipient of the CCA, Community Choice Aggregation. I recommend we just put it in conjunction with our
Sure.
regular
Do we
scheduled
want
board meeting.
to, I don't think anybody realized that we had made a choice. Can we?
Yeah, I was gonna, more kind of order.
Okay.
It's other business, we gotta decide on dates, but I was gonna give it as a.
On your
board member
update? Okay, we could do it that way.
But, so we'll talk more after I give the whole.
Okay, very good. Well, we'll come to that now because we're going to be in executive session. I just want to get the town board supervisor updates out of the way before we go into executive session. So the two that I have, and then I'll let you guys take over. We have another meeting with the MTA. We have some issues in town with the MTA in regards to Duck Cedar Plaza. It's a rather long story. They're trying to put a package sewer plant in there because they have an old outdated 1970s era septic system. Everything has been approved by the Department of Health at the county level, the DEC, DOT. And all they need to do is get permission from the MTA, but unfortunately, they're running into some great resistance there. So we've gotten James Skoufis's office, Senator Skoufis, and Carl Brabenek, our state assemblyman, and actually the governor's office to a degree, to continue the conversation to try to solve this problem at Duck Cedar Plaza, which if doesn't get approved, could look a little ugly down the road for shutting it, at least reducing seats for some restaurant and possibly stopping any progress there at all. So that's something high on our agenda right now that we're working with, like I say, some other state entities who are very interested in trying to get the MTA back on board with this particular project, since it is such a clean project. I mean, this thing is effluenting almost potable water into the Ramapo. They just don't want them to have access to the culvert pipe that transgresses underneath the railroad track. So hopefully we can get them to take another look at that. I think it was mentioned by Rick earlier that we had to make an emergency decision outside the scope of board matters for cybersecurity improvement. We had some employees that were successfully attacked by an email campaign that's focusing on small governments.
I think I was attacked today.
You were,
But
okay.
I didn't touch it because you sent something out.
Yeah, well, what it is it's a group called Storm 1575. They're notorious for going after small governmental, agencies, because they know that social engineering works very well. They know that people know each other, and they just have to go on the website and say, oh, it's supervisor talking to Chris or Deirdre, or whoever it is.
To what end?
Say again?
To what end?
To where they send you an attachment that is an HTML attachment, and when you open it, it provides you what looks like a Microsoft Outlook login screen.
Right.
That's where the disaster begins. If you put your credentials in there, now they've stolen your credentials, they've stolen everything out of the cache of your browser, they have all your passwords, and effectively have access to your Outlook server. So we had to make some emergency changes. I reviewed it with New Windsor IT to find out, I couldn't believe that we're not on multi-factor authentication, so we have that now, and I'm sorry that I know it led to some confusion. They were supposed to send the document for everybody to be ready at 8:30 this morning, and I don't know what happened, but everybody seems to be okay now. Firewalls had to be upgraded. The MDR, which is managed device on the network perimeter, has been upgraded to the latest and greatest CrowdStrike endpoint defender. So we're pretty good now. And these are things where we just baseline need to be, and we weren't there. So as a result of what happened to us, we had to make an emergency appropriation, and we did. And the cost of it is following behind. I'm sure it's not that much money. I think it was $10 per person for the multi-factor authentication seat licensing. And I think the firewalls and the CrowdStrike endpoint detection is probably somewhere like $2,500, $3,000 extra, but small price to pay for, what could potentially happen. So, did you have another question?
Oh, it's a good thing I don't know my passwords.
Okay, well, there you go. And I just want to say, if you think that you may have been compromised or you,
Well, I just don't.
please let me know because we have to do a password reset on you right away, right? I think the fact that we have multi-factor authentication is good, but keep in mind that these particular threat actors, when you click on their attachment and it throws you back that Outlook login, it completely defeats multi-factor authentication from that point. So but it's gonna mess them up when they try to log in as you on their own server, because now they need the MFA. But it can defeat MFA, so we're not completely out of the woods. These guys are really good at what they do. Outside of that, I have no further updates. Let's start working with Chris and work our way down.
Nothing from me.
Okay.
Okay, Rick, do you want to talk about Arbor Day? I'll cover.
You could.
Okay, so, yeah, I figure I have plenty.
I got plenty to go through.
So on, is that Tuesday?
Monday.
Monday, today's Wednesday, right? This meeting's throwing me all off. Okay, on Monday, the Village of Tuxedo Park Tree Advisory Board put together a nice little event in St. Mary's in front of, the park entrance. DPW had a part, or I'm sorry, Highway Department had a part digging holes, the police department were there. Keeping an eye on the kids not running in front of fire trucks or behind fire trucks. The fire department was there to help wire the trees. It was a nice event. Rick and I were both there. Planted 5 trees, had a little discussion with the students from GGM who were there to help plant the trees. They learned about trees, why it's important to the environment. It was a nice little Arbor Day / Earth Day town event with lots of people playing. What's that?
Ambulance sports.
Oh, and ambulance corps was there as well. Yes. Yep. Thank you. I was making a list. I was like, I don't want to forget anybody. So that was fun. On another thing that happened last week, we've got decent pricing for the community choice aggregation based off Jules' recommendation. That's who's administrating the program for us. We signed a contract for 11.7 cents per kilowatt hour for the next 16 months, which will go into effect in August. Technically, it's 100% renewable energy, although New York State, based on the combination, will only give us credit for 50%. So we'll get some points, but not as many points as possible for climate smart. But eventually that'll lead to some grants.
Right.
We're getting 50% wind from across the nation and 50% renewables from New York State. We have to schedule some outreach events coming up. Letters will be going out. This won't take effect till August. But then from 16 months, if you choose to stay in the program, you'll be paying 11.7 cents per kilowatt hour. So pay
Do
attention
we
to your
know what
electric
that's
bills.
versus right now from O&R?
Was under 10.
Yeah, it was under 10 in March. It was above 11 in February, so it goes up and down. So we'll
And when
probably
we
see.
discussed this, I looked at mine
Yeah.
through a budget and it's 18.
Yours is 18?
So yes, we'll be dropping my
Holy
program and
crap.
going
Oh, you mean the free air mile?
Yeah,
Oh,
the free air miles aren't so
So-
anymore.
To a point.
So it is interesting you say that
Mine's
because,
14.
okay, because I looked on New York State has a website, or it might have been Department of Energy, I can't remember. But it had average costs for different states, different areas, and they were all around that 18 mark. And I was shocked because I know O&R's hasn't been that high. So
No.
I started questioning the validity of their numbers, but now
Yeah.
maybe I believe them.
So my free air miles weren't so free.
Guess not.
So, and we just have to pick, I owe them the dates for the outreach. If you guys are okay with me just picking
Yep.
Yeah, you-
two of the next
All
meetings, I'll
yours.
let you know.
Yeah, sure. but
Okay.
So you had mentioned that it was 100% renewable and there was no blended pricing, correct?
Yes, it was like 0.003 cents difference for regular blended
Oh, so that's all it
with
was?
New York. So yeah,
Okay.
what I explained in the email is basically for a little bit more, we get 100% renewable. So we're not using conventional fossil fuels. It's just New York State counts the 50% that will come from New York renewables, and they only care about New York. They don't care about the other 50% we're getting is from national wind, right? So bottom line is we're burning less fossil fuels for this program. but we're not
Okay.
getting as much credit as we would. Or you could opt up if people wanted to for 12.5 cents, I think it is, for 100% New York renewable, which means all the energy comes from New York State. I think this is a win-win.
It is a win-win.
So,
I agree.
okay, so I'll let everybody know when we'll do the meetings, the outreach, but we'll just probably do the first Monday of the next 2 months.
Okay.
Or first
It will.
Monday meeting that we have, so second Monday of the next 2 months.
It will.
And that's all I have.
Thank you, Chris. Rick?
Oh, boy. I got a bunch of stuff. All right, first of all, you probably saw on the town's Facebook page and mine and Tuxedo OEM, the town of Tuxedo is going to be doing a blood drive for Louis Beef DeBrino, who was a pillar of this community. He was a fire commissioner, very involved in the fire service and volunteering throughout the town of Tuxedo. He was a role model to a lot of people. That's gonna be May 30th, 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. here at the town hall in the meeting room. And we are asking that if you could go on the Tuxedo website, Marissa, or is it on your Facebook page?
It's on the
Put a link.
website.
Yes, we do have a link on the
Okay.
website.
So on the website, there's a sign up hyperlink. If you could go on there and sign up for a time slot, because we guaranteed them 18 people. I think we'll be able to fill that with no problem, hopefully, community. And, you know, it'd be nice to know prior to the date that we've already fulfilled our commitment. But walk-ins are also acceptable. I know somebody asked if they'll be doing platelets. They will be. So please come out and support that. It's great for our community, and in recognition of Beef. His family was very happy that we thought of Beef in this situation. So we also have a recreation department through Gym Guys has set up a fitness program for the adaptive community. It'll be down at the Powerhouse on, what date was this? June 1st at 10 a.m. where they're doing it at the Powerhouse as well as in Haverstraw. Haverstraw is at May 11th at 10 a.m. at their community center. So if either one of those two places, but ours is at the Powerhouse Park, June 1st, 10 a.m. And it's a physical fitness thing. You can find it on our recreation Facebook page if you want more information on that, or you can call Kathleen here at the town hall. Also, I'd like to recognize Lieutenant John Norton. He was recognized by the Orange County Shields. They're dedicating their meeting in May, on May 22nd, to Lieutenant Norton and 5 other honored recipients that for his hard work and dedication to the town of Tuxedo. So kudos to Lieutenant Norton. Keep up the good work.
Well deserved.
2 final things. I sent out emails to you guys. I believe you had a little bit of time to review it. We discussed it. Follow-up interview, but we were locked out of our emails this morning. But I just want to let you know on one project, since all my other projects are going away, I picked up a new project. Carrie Alley, our Tuxedo financial bookkeeper, who's instrumental to the town and budgeting. We sat down with ClearGov. It's a software for budgeting. And we went through their presentation, watched it, and Milton, town of Milton, the county of Orange, and the city of Newburgh, if anybody would like to go on and look at their budgeting process compared to what ours budgeting process looks like and has looked like for many, many, many years, I think you'll understand the reasons why we're looking to get a new budgeting software. Currently, we use Excel. We send it to our department heads an Excel worksheet, and we expect them to put in all what they're looking for their equipment, for the pricing, quantities, and stuff like that. Then we transfer that all over to a tentative worksheet, and then we transfer that over to a proposal, and then for our final adopted budget, which allows for errors. And we do have errors quite often with that process. This also is something that's going to be clarification to our community as well as our board members and all department heads. Because when you look through our budget, as we've been trying to do, and dissecting, trying to find how we're going to make it through till we get to a new budget year is it's extremely difficult. This will allow us to have worksheets that are built right into the software, given to the department heads who fill out the worksheets, then is submitted to the budget officers. We then review the budget. We're able to approve or disapprove items, and we could add notes of reasons why, or requesting, change in quantities or something like that. It goes directly, they get a message to them. It's all in the same software. There's no having to transfer amongst that allows for mistakes. It provides everything in graphs, it provides everything in charts if you want it that way. And when we submit it out to the residents of Tuxedo, it's very easy to understand. So it's a very good software to work with.
And it's also, the KVS system that we use now.
Correct.
Can interpret that data
The
clearly.
KVS system that we're
Important.
using is our accounting software. So our day-to-day process, our budget, our invoices, everything is done through KVS. If we were to go to contract with them, they will do a historical dump into the software, which will take everything we have through KVS, put it into our system, and it will allow us to see our tracking of our expenditures. So we can see snow removal over the last 10 years has had a 2% increase. So we can plan and project what our next 5 years may look like. Obviously I'm just picking something random. That depends on weather, clearly, stuff. But you can see expenditures across a certain line item that, you could try to project where your budgets are going to turn out to be in 5 or 8 years.
So it's highly visual and highly descriptive.
Correct. And
Which
I
we
encourage
currently don't have.
anybody and everybody that wants to know about, it, look at the town of Milton, the city of Newburgh, or the county of Orange and their budget, and you will see what we're talking about. It's.
Yeah, so when we have the public hearing on the budgets in the preliminary phase, we generally give the residents a copy with looks like that, right? And they're like, what is this line item? Well, this will change that completely and make everybody
And
understand.
it's all cloud-based, so it's able to be retrieved from anywhere. I'm not asking for anything tonight on this. I'm just letting you guys know this is something we're currently working on. And I do encourage you, please look at the email that I sent out and the stuff that is associated. There's quite a hefty package on what they offer us and can offer us. It's something I would like to see us entertain in the future, but not right now. But I just want to make everybody aware of that project. Finally, I would like to speak about something that while we were campaigning to take these seats was one of the number one things that our community told us they wanted, the people that we spoke to. They wanted our dispatchers back in our police department. They are tired of not picking up the phone and calling somebody that they're unaware of who they are and not knowing where they live and the circumstances in which they're dealing with. So over the last month or so, I've been working with the chief of police and other agencies around us, finding out what they pay their dispatchers and trying to find out hourly salaries and coming up with a plan. So in my opinion, I'm ready to move forward with this, but obviously this is something that you guys may need time to digest, and I'm good with that as well. If we do not move forward with this tonight, there's nothing really that's going to change here because the numbers are what they are. It's just something that you may need more time to digest, and I totally understand that. However, I just want to tell you, I'm comfortable with the numbers that we have here, and I believe this is something that we as a town board should be moving and looking forward to.
So it'd be staffed by part-timers?
Correct.
And what's the numbers look like again? From now until the end of the year and what the yearly?
So these would be part-timers. We're looking to man the shift 7 days a week, from 7 a.m. to 7 a.m. to 11 p.m., which that's your current shifts. Yes. And then at 11 p.m., it would roll over to the county dispatch center because of call volume.
So
The
B
amount
and
of
C
calls-
line.
So the amount of calls that come in over the midnights, really, we don't know if that's something we want to entertain right now, but we do feel that the from 7 a.m. to 11 p.m., when most people are up and about and moving and may need assistance, this would be beneficial.
How many calls do we typically get in a shift?
I have those reports. If the chief provides them to us the first Monday of every month, I could show you. They're in my office, in my desk. I can't tell you off the top of
So
my head.
you're looking at about an average of about 300, somewhere around 300.
And if
per
he
month.
even has,
Calls a shift?
No, not per shift, but
monthly.
so what doesn't get counted in that is the many phone calls that come in as well. that
Right. Yeah, I
don't-
guess I'm just trying to figure out how many calls would a dispatcher take versus what happens now? How, if an officer is taking those calls, that frees up that officer to do other things.
That's
So
exactly.
I'm just trying to
it, right.
figure out,
the 300 calls that the chief mentioned are the 300 calls that they actually call, they draw what's called a blotter. They actually go pen to paper on.
Right, those are jobs
There's
that,
numerous more calls that don't go pen to paper. The things that go, oh, there's a bear walking down the street, come
Right.
please check it out, you know, I mean,
That
a lot of
doesn't-
people,
that doesn't count? I'm just,
not necessarily, sometimes it does, if
Yeah.
they go and they
Right.
have to do
I'm a
action,
novice
if
here,
not,
just-
and it's gone.
no,
yeah.
no problem. And so in that 300 number, like Rick's saying, like those are jobs that we go to.
I see.
So we call them calls, so it sounds, we might
That's
be
okay,
throwing you off
yeah.
inadvertently. But the phone calls that come into the police station, like the bear, but also, just looking for information, or I'm wondering, we need directions, or how do I get my ticket fixed? I had something wrong with this, or, they, all day
Accident
long.
reports and all
Yeah,
that,
Right,
right?
accident
Yeah.
reports, how do we get,
Yeah.
FOIL requests, like
And who's taking those calls now?
the officers and myself. So
Okay.
that means that somebody is out in the road.
And I think this particular position actually fixes a few things. It puts the comfort and the familiarity back in the seat for the residents, number one. Number two, it also accelerates as an administrative assistant / clerk in terms of handling all these types of affairs that your cops are currently covering full-time. So
Yes, yes.
it definitely assists with them, and we'll definitely track the numbers. I think something more important too, this money would come from the B fund, where we're extremely healthy. As a matter of fact, we have a little bit more
Yeah.
money than we should there. So it's not gonna be
I
a
guess,
strain
no, I
against
think it's
budgetary.
wonderful. I'm
there's-
just trying to figure out, I can't help it. I like to financially figure everything out.
Mhm.
So I just want to see, what is the benefit, aside from the fact that it's a great idea? From what I'm hearing is you're freeing up officers to be
Yes.
able to better assist the community. And that savings is probably, right, $40, $50 an hour?
I mean,
About?
I don't know how you put money on that, but it
Right.
does free it up. You are 100% correct.
Yeah,
And when you call the police
but you can put
station,
money to it.
I don't know how to do that.
Call the
Yeah.
local police station, 9 times out of 10, they don't answer. When you call their
Okay,
cell phones that they're supposed to have on them, 9 times out of 10, they don't answer. There's a highway superintendent calling, they don't answer. So I imagine you as a less than a public servant, as a resident, they're not gonna answer those calls either.
every time I've called, they've answered.
But
I
if you
have to say,
If you have to
So-
call, you'll end up calling 911,
yeah,
and that'll go back to them.
And here's another example. We were sitting down with Sergeant Russell last week, Marissa and myself, because we're going over getting the new phone system here.
mhm,
And we needed to get a layout of how the phones are gonna be set up at the police department. While we're sitting with Sergeant Russell to try to figure out this phone system, every time the police officer on the road was going out with a vehicle stop, he had to call Sergeant Russell to let him know he's going out with a vehicle stop in case something happened to him, if he got hit by a car or something happened, that he knew where to respond to. Because calling Orange County 911 during daytime hours when numerous calls are coming into them is what they consider an inconvenience. So for them to not inconvenience Orange County 911, our police officers are doing the job of a dispatcher while they're trying to be police
Okay.
officers. So they're making up the role of dispatchers for our community as much as they physically can. But at what cost? As, like you said, I don't know how to calculate that. But there's no reason why a police officer should be in a meeting and trying to do this. And he's also trying to make sure the officer that he's working with is out there safe and being,
Oh,
Taken care of.
yeah, believe
So
me,
to have
to
a
me,
dispatcher-
I agree with you, but I can't help who I am. I'd like to see the features and the benefits of these dispatchers, how it's gonna benefit the community, which you've already explained, but I'm sure there's a lot more that would benefit the community. And then how it's going to be expensed, and where we're going to spend it. That's what
All
I'd
the
like to
expenses
see.
are here and we
The expenses,
explained,
I get that.
and it's
That's-
coming out of the B fund, which we are, according to the comptroller's office, we have too much money in. So that's where that's coming out of.
Well,
broke
I
this
haven't
down
seen
to-
I
to-
have not seen the 3+9 yet, so I'd like to see that and apply it to that. So that's where I stand.
Can I just
on it.
throw out one other point for the public? It's sort of an overlooked point that I think is very important, is that a police department itself, as a government office, we're a place of safety and refuge. When we're out in the town doing our jobs patrolling, when somebody is seeking that safety and refuge, we can't provide that because there's nobody there. When we have our dispatchers there, we can then get them into that lobby, and now they're in that place where they're seeking that, solace. So I think that's another important,
Yeah, I think,
aspect of
I think 100%, I am 100% behind the dispatchers. I just want to see it spelled out a little better so that the community understands that it was completely thought out. And what are the features and benefits, and how does the community benefit by having more productive officers in the field and having administrators sitting there being able to respond to any needs of the community, which I think this program is offering. All I'm saying is, let's put it down on paper, let's put it into a budget, and make sure that it is in the budget, and we make sure that we make it happen as quickly as possible. That's my position.
Okay, can I ask you how I'm to do that? Because I gave you the numbers for the remainder of this year. I gave you the numbers for the entire next year. I broke it down by salary. I broke it down by shift.
So I know the
broke it
numbers.
down,
It's
okay.
$130,000 a year.
I spoke to our
So-
accountant
Yeah,
who agrees and says our B fund can support this.
so.
What numbers do you need from me that I could get to?
You don't have to do any numbers. I want to see the 3+9. I want to see, which means 3 months in, 9 months to go. I want to see where this numbers fit into that to make sure that we're still being responsible with our numbers. That's all.
Well, yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you there, but we already know where we are. We're 135% over what we need to have for the B fund, which.
I have not seen a budget.
So we'll give that to you, absolutely. I'm not gonna, I hear what you're saying. I think what you're also saying is, outside the scope of the numbers, you're also looking for a little bit of visibility to the public to, to
Yeah.
see. We're gonna break it down, and here's the bullet points and why this
Yeah,
is
I
good for the
can happily
community.
do that.
As,
If you want to
as
call
this
me
is a
up and
piece
you
of
and I'll do it
communication
together.
outbound.
And that way,
And I
yeah.
think
And it's
that's
the way I started this
responsible.
conversation is I'm not saying we have to approve this.
No,
thing.
I
I'm
get
just
it.
asking what I can do to get something that you're asking that I
I
can do.
can,
What
I
do you
can
need from me?
basically take those numbers and spin them and show you how much you're going to save with officers.
Right. No,
I can do that.
I hear what you're saying.
Then I'm happy to do it.
As much as I'd like to execute
As
it
a-
too,
as
I
a
think
forecast,
just
it's
missing
not
that one little
real,
core
but-
component of actually putting it in a folder, thumbing through a presentation, presenting that to the public,
Yeah.
saying, here's the benefits of this. Chief speaks to it, we speak to it, and we adopt it. And that's as simple as
And,
that.
and then I
right?
think the final part, maybe Deirdre, this is what you get into as far as the budget. I mean, how much it costs, but what's the line number in the police budget that it's gonna go to? We'd have to transfer the money from the B fund to.
Well, we'd have to make
No,
a
it
break.
comes out
and
of
all
the
that
B fund.
stuff.
It comes out of the B fund.
Yeah,
So we have no problem there. We would have to create a line item budget
Right.
expense as a modification for
right.
this year.
We have to modify
And
the
then we'll
budget
build
for
it into the 2025
Yeah,
budget.
which is
That's,
great.
that, I like to
That's
see
fine.
the line numbers going into, so then you can see it being spent throughout the year.
Right.
And I think that's kind of what you're.
Yeah, there's not a problem with the amount of money to fund this. We just need to put it on paper, inject it in, make a modification at the same time that we
Right.
adopt the service, which we need to create, right? So there's gonna be a
That's
little
all.
time. I think maybe at the next meeting, we might be able to pull
That's
this
fine.
off.
Yep.
So to
And,
recap, I just need
yeah.
to provide your 3120 line, and we have to provide a subcategory out of your 3120 into what a dispatcher would
Yes.
fill.
That would be
Got
great.
it. That's all I'm asking. That's fine.
Yeah,
And I'll put together, I'm happy to put together
right.
benefits to the community, talking to you, because you're gonna know better than I am, of what the benefits of the community, to the community are by having this service and how our police department can better serve our community.
This is
And I can
bringing,
even put some numbers.
bringing back old school to the community because
Yeah,
it's so
I-
important.
'cause
And
it-
like Ricky said,
Yeah,
during the campaign cycle, every single person said, can you please look into bringing this back? And they've been saying that since 2015 when
Yeah.
I went away.
but you need talking points.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. I mean, you're looking past this, you're looking towards, we don't need to really sell it, we just need to say what benefits you're gonna reap from it when we put it on the table and pass it, right?
Anytime you ask
Just
for
so
money,
they
I
know,
have to
because
know
if we
why.
do it and we're remiss on the communication, people will still be calling 911. And they'll just bypass that and all the work that went into
There's
designing
a lot
this
of work that
particular-
went here, and it's a
Yeah,
great, it's a
Rick
great
has done a lot of
program. I'm
work on
not,
this.
I'm just
Yeah.
being me.
Yeah,
Sorry.
and that's fine, Deirdre. I mean, I don't see an insulated delay. I see next meeting, if we can just get
Yeah,
that stuff
that's
out
fine.
there.
Yeah.
All right, everybody
Howard,
else good with that?
Howard had indicated he had something.
Yeah, I have,
Go ahead, Howard.
I just want to have an opportunity to brainstorm this with Mike Richardson, because as you may remember, when the dispatchers were eliminated, there had been a bargaining unit for the dispatchers,
Yeah, these
a
are
union.
part-timers.
These are part-timers.
Yeah, the others had included part-timers as well. So I just want to review with him whether there's any exposure
Okay.
from a union standpoint, just to make sure that we've covered that base in advance.
Okay, thank you, Howard.
Uh,
All right, any other discussion
Public
on that,
comment?
Rick?
Yes, I have a public comment about it,
Not yet. We're not at the public comments. We have to wait
about
till the
this
end of the
issue?
meeting.
No? Okay, this just a
Not on
comment.
this issue, no.
Okay.
All right, so is that
I have,
Deirdre?
one more thing, the SRO program. I just need for the board, I sent out an email like 3 weeks ago. I need you guys to look it over and agree if we're gonna move forward with the contract going towards the school. So it's an 8-page contract. I had it sent out to Howard and Michael Richardson. Howard gave me some, vocabulary changes. I made those changes before I sent it to you guys. Michael Richardson gave me some things. I made those changes, so you guys have the final, contract. It's just a matter of reviewing 8-page contract and, the price sheets that are associated with that and see if we agree with it.
So pretty much that particular SRO service, school resource officer service, tendered by the town has a lot of advantages as well, which need to be brought out when we start discussing that. But I think one of the most important factors is this is pretty much a cost recovery effort here. This is not coming out of we're getting paid to do this job and we're delivering it at a cost and they're paying the cost.
And by the
So-
way, we'll go back into the B fund.
Right, it goes
So
back
who-
into the B
Who is
fund.
doing it now? Now it's the
It's the
state-
sheriff.
That's
Sheriff's
the Orange
Department?
County Sheriff's Department.
Yeah. And this gives us a little more meat on the bone as far as the local police being able to enforce certain situations that the sheriff can't. So that's all part of this package, which we'll fully describe to both the town, all the town board members as well as the.
Yeah, I
public.
mean, this is early stages of a
Yeah.
contract. We don't negotiate all our contracts right out in public, so.
And
I
this
just
would be
need you-
for next year?
No,
So-
starting in July for
For
summer
summer
school.
session?
Summer
Okay.
school, they want 1 officer there for 4 days a week, 7 hours. For regular school, they want 2 officers there, 5 days a week for 8 hours.
Yeah.
So this would also cover the, summer camp?
No.
No, this is only
Summer
first.
school, camp is our responsibility. Would they
Okay.
be there the same time as summer school? Maybe. I
Okay.
don't know, I'm sure they would be there for some of, like, morning session, when
Yeah,
they do their arts and
yeah.
crafts, and then when they go to the lake there.
Right.
So if you could just please review that and let me know if we can move forward with talking to the school. I don't want to talk to the school until we approve the contract on our end. That's it.
Deirdre.
My turn, okay. Just to circle back to the, school district lights. We were gonna ask the highway department to get us a price for the flashing lights. And also Sean has in his possession the permit, so he's moving through the permit. We have to sort of get a price from you as to what the best flashing lights would be for Route
And
7.
now, is that just one side of the road or both?
At the time, we decided to do one side of the road because the other side of the road is on private property.
Okay,
When the town purchases, or if the town purchases that property, we still have to do a survey and a site plan
Mhm.
and get that approved through the planning department in
Okay.
order to put one there. So because the one on this side is just replacing it, we can do that pretty easily. So the permit would allow us to do that, and then we have to figure out what the equipment would be. but we're hoping to be solar so that we can not have to deal with the
You
electricity.
get climate smart
And
points.
we're gonna
for
get
I don't know.
we're gonna get climate smart points for that. Trust me, I'm asking.
that.
Weren't we gonna ask the DOT to put the pole back and, wasn't that, didn't we have that discussion?
I don't think
No,
so.
we decided not to do that because we declared that thing dead. And we still thought that maybe, because I looked at a bunch of stuff in those catalogs, and there's some there that we could get for under $5,000. So, but, you know, I don't know what I'm looking at.
Can it go on a phone pole?
I don't know.
Well, we'll find
Well,
out.
yeah.
You guys took
So-
the old one out. You were a couple months ago, right?
Basically, I think some truck took it out.
Don't
No, well, they hit it, but I think Rob
Yeah,
cut
he
it off.
did, and I went over and looked at it, it's
I have
dead.
it laying in the yard.
And it's-
Base,
it's
broken
dead.
base, pole, sign.
It's all dead.
wires, everything, and it was, it went to the, electrical.
Yeah.
On the pole, yeah.
On the pole, yeah. So this, solar.
Yeah, could be a solution.
Okay, we'll look at
Okay.
that.
In terms of the Hamlet revitalization, so we met with, thank you, Rick, he listened to us go through it once again. We had Creighton Manning team come down, we went through a site walkabout and showed them all of the things that we have been working on for the past 2 years. They are coming back to us at the end of this week with some working sketches, and they are very anxious to start scheduling public meetings to show these concepts. And there are going to be 2 working sessions, one of which will be on here at the town hall, and they will break out into sessions so people who are a little shy and don't want to talk or feel threatened by making comments can talk in smaller groups, and they'll take that and go back and be able to come up with yet a final concepts for us to look at again. They're also going to put it on a website so that people can look at it and make comments on that website about what they like and don't like about those plans. So this is all moving at a pretty rapid pace. We're trying to get the first on-site town meeting in May so that we'll be ready to make an application for the New York Forward grant that is in the end of the summer, basically. So they're also right now looking at and doing a study on the feasibility of a road diet. So a road diet has always come up because of the fact that in order for us to have any pedestrian traffic, we right now, if we want to have pedestrian traffic on the east and the west side of Route 17, we have to either intrude on private property or we have to go into Route 17. So they're looking at other options. For example, maybe we should only do a promenade on one side of Route 17 and have really nice, beautiful sidewalks on one side is a possibility, or we can do a road diet. So they're looking at all of these options so that when we look at a plan, those plans have been run by the DOT, which, as Rob knows, the DOT loves to say no about basically anything that doesn't fit within their specifications. So the most important thing is they are looking at all of the options that we have available to us and be able to address this with the public and be able to come up with some really nice plans that make our hamlet beautiful. And we'll be inviting for actually economic growth, which is really our goal. So going back to that, in 2 weeks, we will have the results of the Greenway study. And the Greenway study, just to remind you, is about the economic status and potential of the Route 17 corridor, starting at the beginning of Route 17, going all the way through Southfields, and identifying where the people in our towns shop, what are viable businesses for our town people to shop in, how we can capture sales from tourism and drive-through, people who just drive through. For example, people who drive through here, there's no place for them to get a cup of coffee. How many people drive through and would they stop and get coffee? Probably, but we need to sort of have that to be, to identify it so that we can then put together a plan so we can go out and as we're developing and beautifying our hamlet, we can go out and then start to recruit businesses that we know that would thrive and do well here, have them come into our hamlet and give them some, and pitch them on why it's good to be in Tuxedo. So it's a two-pronged program that we're working on, and hopefully we'll be able to pull it all together and be really productive and active in moving forward in the third quarter. So that's revitalization. We're also working with Scoofus's department. They told us that they believe that we have a really strong case for New York Forward, and they discouraged us from asking from them for any money for our revitalization, and thought we should come up with some other ways in which they could help us for funding, particularly.
Because of our strength in the position?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So I think that one of the things that we can look at is where we can ask them for monies would be in our rec area. So, so that I will pass along.
Well, thank you for all the hard work you
yeah.
do there. I know
And
that's a
then
lot of work.
finally, I just want to give a quick update on Tree City, because we had that presentation from the town, the park, and it was Arbor Day. So I asked the Recreation Committee to look into what it would take for us to become Tree City. So hopefully that committee can
I
start
did
to
all
work.
that.
You did it?
Yeah, with Ms. Hempel.
Oh, you did?
Yeah,
So it's
presented
done.
it.
And you didn't tell
Well,
anybody?
we couldn't come up with $7,000, so we didn't join it.
Is that how much it was?
We didn't have the money for it.
Yeah, it's like, what was the figure
Okay.
per?
I got the LDC to approve us to join it. However, we would only be able to plant the trees in the hamlet area only.
Oh.
We wouldn't be able to plant it in the rest
And
of the
we
town,
couldn't
so
do-
I didn't think that
Yeah,
was
it's not a line
responsible.
item budget.
Okay.
I figured we would try to budget for that next year.
Okay.
Yeah.
and
Because
we
I
would
passed it
display
over to the
whole
rec group.
town.
They
Yeah,
didn't
we
tell me.
tried to get the
Yeah.
LDC, but it
Yeah,
fell through on the
okay.
hamlet designation.
All right.
Okay, anything else, Deirdre?
No, that's it.
Well, thanks so
Just,
much.
if we could just mention that, since we've mentioned Senator Scubus many times here tonight, just to let the town know that Senator Scubus and Assemblyman Brabenec were in town today. They did a press release with the Tuxedo School, and they were able to get them grants to help with some finances there, so.
That's awesome.
Kudos to our friends in higher places.
Also, I thought I read that Scoofus did some PR yesterday on getting the CHIPS money that they were trying to cut. Is that correct?
That's the budget, and I don't know where it came from yet. I will find out with Scoofus while we're talking to him, and he's all our buddy and all that. Where the money is from last,
Okay.
grant that they promised 10 years ago, we still haven't got. Or the truck.
Okay, good point. Actually,
Check was sitting on his desk, and was gonna do is go get it, it's gonna sign it, and so far, as I know, we've never got the 75,000.
That was the 75,000 we were supposed to.
yeah, we did.
We-
I heard
February.
about that. They told me
Didn't
about that.
we get that? That was the DASNY grant, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard about
Yeah.
that. They mentioned it to me.
We'll check with bookkeeper. I think we got that
We were
finally.
supposed to have gotten it.
I know we did DocuSign for it. I signed it like January. So let me get back to you on that. Yeah, well, that came out of the B fund. Was that DB? It was probably DB, right? So, okay, we'll check that for you and get back to you. I'm pretty sure that I did the DocuSign for that. But whether it got funded or not, that's, you know,
Did we get the check?
We
Yeah.
met him in December, just prior to us taking over, and that's when it got re-engaged, because Michelle Lindsay was with us as well, and she was the one that was in charge of running that.
Right.
And then within several weeks after that, it was being passed through their desk, and you got the DocuSign.
Right,
shortly thereafter,
yeah.
So I'm sure we.
I definitely signed something. I'll get back to you on whether we got the check and where the check
It's
went.
too big to let that.
'Cause that's
one go.
important too. He needs to go back in your budget. Okay. Anything else? I think you said you're good, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so moving on. I'd like to make a motion to accept the minutes of the regular bi-monthly town board meeting held on April 8th, 2024. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. I'd like to make a motion that the following vouchers, having been audited by the town board, are hereby approved for payment. Claim numbers last four 3133 through 3197. do it for a total of $141,247.61. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Right.
Aye. Okay, we did other
Just
business.
I got couple things I forgot to mention. I would like to, thank everybody that showed up for our, Earth Day cleanup on Saturday. Especially the Tuxedo PTO for putting out the snacks at the Tuxedo School. All the volunteers that showed up, the Tuxedo Fire Department for providing fire chief's trucks and assistance with Bramertown Road, Eagle Valley, and I believe they were also in town. Tom Riley for setting up the school end of that. Tuxedo Highway Department for providing employees to help us pick up the bags and to supply the vests and gloves and all the other supplies that helped out. The State Highway Department that gave us picker-upper thingers, and Tuxedo PD that was able to assist with the traffic out there that day. Chris mentioned the tree planting, and I'd also like to thank the Tuxedo Police Chief for setting up an active shooter training class that we had last week. It was very informative. We had a good turnout, and I've gotten a lot of text with the appreciation of your presentation. So thank you very much, sir.
Thanks for that, Chief. Thank you, Rick. Okay, time for public comments. Any public comments from Zoom? Claudia, you're up.
Are we sure Sue has nothing to say at the moment?
Your hand's up right now.
You go first.
Okay, so I have two things. Good evening, everybody. Sorry I couldn't be there. There were two things that were on my mind. So one was the dog park, which several of you already saw on Facebook, and I think Rick March and John Sandek already acted on that. So I think
Rob Dolbaum had that fixed, and everything was
Thank you,
taken
Rob.
care of by 9:30 in the morning that morning.
Yep, and it raises its head once in a while, so I just wanted to bring it to your attention. Second thing is, I saw something today that maybe you can help me understand. It's the Gem of New York Facebook page that also has a link to a web page. I'm wondering if that is the same thing that you presented some time back.
Yeah, you know, that page hasn't been, the website for the Gem of New York is, did it go live today?
Yeah,
Okay.
it did.
I didn't get a notification unless I missed it that it was launched officially today. It still is under some development in certain ways. Deirdre and I are working very closely with the producers to make sure we engage the proper content, because it's a focus on the town, not the village. It's about the town of Tuxedo, the village is within. So you'll start to see things happening there. We'll talk more about it in the next couple of weeks. We're trying to tentatively.
If you have a
say.
moment to look at it, it is very, how could I say that? It's very strange that there are certain properties on there that belong to one individual.
Well, I think we noticed what you're talking about, and we've brought that up, so we'll make
Yeah.
sure that we go back and double check.
I'm
The
wondering-
last time I looked, the only one that I saw was the very first picture.
Yeah.
But that has, once again, we're not the production company, we're the associates, so we're gonna make sure we drive their content.
But it also
Posted
is not
today
free.
was the train station and a history of the workers that used to get off the train and go up into Tuxedo Park to do the work. So as
Right.
of today, there was more information put on there.
Yeah, as far as the person who owns all the properties, we have no stake in that game.
I
So
know,
that's
but-
nothing to do with us. The shooting schedule is tentatively being set as the first week of June for the very first documentary,
But the point
65-minute
is-
documentary, but we've made it clear that it's the history of the entire town.
We
Yeah.
gave it out.
Well, and
Say
it's
again?
not
We
free,
gave it
right?
out
It's not a
once.
free service.
Yeah, and Deirdre gave them a very comprehensive outline of what we require to be in
Yeah.
that particular documentary. So it's not like they're just flying by and saying, oh, here. We definitely are driving that agenda. So you'll see some stuff coming, Claudia, pretty
Yeah.
soon that starts to make sense to you.
Well, on the
Okay.
positive side of this thing, it looks professional, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So
Yeah,
that looks
it
good.
does.
And lastly, I think I heard the chief saying that a possible dispatcher means also an open office where we can actually walk into.
Yeah.
Just to be clear on that, the police department is a sensitive area, so the lobby would absolutely be open when we
Yes.
have the personnel there, but, yeah, we can't just, open the whole.
No,
Yeah.
the lobby is the only thing we're looking for in the dispatcher and a center, right? A center. But, so this is great news. This is wonderful if that comes through.
Oh, yes, yes,
Very much.
absolutely.
Currently, the lobby is locked and you have to push a button and wait for Orange 911 to contact a police officer who's out on the road to come in and assist you. I've personally stood there in the rain waiting to get in and good
Another
15
feature and
minutes.
benefit.
So this particular program will fix that problem.
Put somebody in
Okay.
there.
It's more, to me, it's more like a welcoming event and a connection to our police force. That's for me more the reason. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Claudia. Sue, sure, you're
Yeah,
up.
hi, further affirmation about the dispatcher. You may or may not remember that when town residents did a survey of the police department about 2.5 years ago, one of the biggest issues that were raised by people is the lack of dispatcher. So I'm glad you're picking up on it, because it is something. And if you need the numbers for something, we can certainly pull back the survey so you have a number and something you've written about percentage of people who are concerned about it.
Yep,
But
so
it
we
was a
heard the
good-
community. We're trying to act on it.
Mhm. Right, thank you.
Thank you, Sue. Mary Gretzer, your
Okay.
hand is up.
It is. And
Yeah,
my hand is up just because I'd like to wish you in person a happy birthday.
Oh,
well, thank you very much.
25 years young.
Yeah, 25, 26 today, yeah. Times 3. Thank you, Mary, I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
And anyone else out on Zoom that has a comment? Okay, consider that a no, and I'd like to make a motion at 8:33 to go into executive session to receive advice from counsel. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Mary, if we do something action-wise, I'll text you prior.
Well, we are gonna do the resolution for the.
I think you
Dave,
said you were going to.
Dave, are you gonna call me or should I call you or how do you
Yeah,
wanna do that?
no, we'll figure out, we'll call you, Howard.
Mary, we will be taking
Okay.
action when we come back, at least of the parks fees.
Thank you, Rick.
Wait, how come this is not lighting up?
Battery's dead,
Oh.
I guess.
Our mics are dead?
Are we
Where's
good?
yours?
All right, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn executive session at 9:32. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay,
Sorry.
back to the regular meeting. We have a couple agenda items that we want to. So let's first do the one you're working on. You ready?
Okay, yeah.
Go ahead and make the motion.
All right, so the resolution to approve rental fees for the town of owned properties. We discussed this earlier. We needed to pull up the old agenda that had the additional and the hours on there. So sticking with the train station, 400 to rent it, it's gonna be a 4-hour block. Any additional hour after that is $100 per hour. Murphy Fields, $300 for a 4-hour block. Any additional hour is $50 per hour. Ticky Field, $300 for a 4-hour block. Any additional hours, $50 an hour. Corey Field, $100, 4-hour block. Any additional hours, $50 an hour. Powerhouse Park, $100 for a 4-hour block, $50 for any additional hour per hour. Do I have a motion? Second by Dave. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, the next one will be a little longer because we have to do some recitation. So this was agenda item number 2, resolution findings and order approving annexation of 2 parcels from the town of Tuxedo to the village of Tuxedo Park. A petition pursuant to General Municipal Law, Article 17, was presented to the town board at the town of Tuxedo, New York, on November 18, 2020, for the annexation of certain territory in the town to the village, said territory being described in said petition, which is annexed hereto in Schedule A. A joint hearing of the town board of the town of Tuxedo and the village of Tuxedo Park was duly noticed and published in accordance with Article 17 of the New York State General Municipal Law. Said joint hearing of the town board in the town of Tuxedo and the village of Tuxedo Park was duly held and on said petition for annexation according to the law in such cases made and provided at the town hall at 1 Temple Drive, Tuxedo, New York, on January 23rd, 2023 at 7 p.m., at which time all parties interested in the matter were heard and all objections presented. And whereas the town board of the town has duly considered said petition and the evidence presented at said hearing, now therefore it is found, resolved, and ordered by the town board of the town of Tuxedo that I will make a motion approving the annexation of 2 parcels from the town of Tuxedo to the village of Tuxedo Park. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, that's it. That's a wrap. I'd like to make a motion to adjourn the meeting. It's 9:35 p.m. I have a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, everyone.
Sure.
We've been running.